So, what is your take on what happened outside of the general convention regarding the gubernatorial endorsements?
So yeah, when I came back in there, it was kind of the end of the Reichert contention, and then there were some different speakers, and Jaime Herrera Buetler or something like that stood up to speak, and there was massive booing. And then as she spoke, there was a huge rise of people that got up, that turned their backs on her, and just stood with their back turned towards her while she spoke, asking for endorsement. And she was very much not welcomed by a lot of the people in the party for her more liberal voting and stance on several subjects.
I actually kind of missed part of it because I was an appointed congressional district chair for the 3rd Congressional District, so I missed the initial stage of the drama that occurred there. I kind of came in the tail end of it because I wanted to eat before I had to start this event, and they got a little bit of a late start on that, so I kind of missed it. But there was a lot of angst and frustration in there over the how the state was going to change who they wanted to, or who they were going to allow to endorse. It was really more about the endorsement process than anything else. And but in the end, I think the people voted that were there, and they decided that they wanted to reverse the decision that the committee had made. And so it seems like they got what the people who attended the convention wanted.
WSRP came out and was basically telling everybody that Simi Bird did not qualify to be on the ballot, and that they were not going to allow we the people to vote for Simi Bird. There was a motion put forth for them to reveal what the reason was that disqualified him, and the standing chair, which, side note, doesn't qualify to be the chair because she was put in after the allotted time, which I believe was April 8th or April 12th. She was put there after that, so she really doesn't qualify. But she said, "I don't think that it's relevant, so I'm not going to tell you." The crowd erupted and said, "You are going to tell us. There's no reason why you should not tell us." Every time we started to take a vote, because there was a motion put forth, for them to reveal. Every time we started to take a vote, there's about 90% of the room, there's about 1,800 people raised their hands in support of Simi Bird and for releasing the information, and about maybe 25-30 people opposed it. They told us that they had to take a hand-counted vote, which usually only happens when you got close to 50% on each side, and you got to get down to the exact number to see who wins the vote, not when 99% of the people say, "We want this." So they did the hand count BS. Then they came in and started changing the wording of what we were voting on. So at first, it was a yay for revealing what disqualified him. And about halfway through the hand count, they changed it up and worded it differently. So the yay counts meant we sided with the ruling that it was irrelevant and that they shouldn't have to reveal what it was that disqualified him. So it was just a bunch of shenanigans in there. The WSRP showed their true colors. They showed that they are not for the people. They're establishment, rhino/Democrats, and we the people prevailed. for the most part. And I really hope that that right there will wake the people up to the point that we can truly take back our party, not only on a local county level, but on a state level and national level, which, thank God, Laura Trump is working wonders in the RNC right now, cleaning house up top. We the people are cleaning house from the bottom up, and if we just don't give up and keep spreading the truth, I think that we will have a very good chance of taking back our party, literally from county offices all the way to national.
Yeah, I walked in and out a couple of times because I had to sign for my delegate pass that I had forgot to sign for. But what I did catch was that there was a call for a vote to suspend voting for endorsing governor, and but the vote also, when I came back to the room, was to vote to approve not disclosing what the issues were for the one particular candidate having not passed his background test. And then the other proposal was that somebody motioned to have those things disclosed publicly. And so for the choice to not disclose it, I think it was in order to not create an issue, I think, of, like, for lack of better words, where it feels like it's gossipy and just kind of airing out dirty laundry, and I think not to want to create a situation of drama, I think, and I think with the other person, they were wanting to put the facts out there so that everybody could see, and to be able to make good judgment and just be aware, and just for the sake of transparency. So I feel inclined to both sides, and I actually didn't vote either way because it's kind of a hard decision in the midst with all the people. Even though I err more on the side of transparency, if you're going to bring it up, that let's talk about what the issues really are. And it's a little unclear as to what is going to transpire tomorrow for voting to endorse for governor candidate. And so it looks like as if we're going to have a write-in only opportunity. So it's a little unclear. It makes it, I guess, interesting. But so at the same time, it's a little bit unfortunate. But there is reasons why certain things happen, and it's, I guess, good to bring awareness to issues that are arising with candidates to be endorsed. So it's good to have happened rather than not, so others are aware and more inclined to look deeper into the candidates that they're wanting to endorse.
So actually, I wasn't in there during that time. I was over in by the booths, and I had stepped out, and we were thinking people should be coming out pretty soon, and all of a sudden, you could hear stuff happening, and anyway, I went in there, and you could trying to just catch up on what's happening, because there's all this parliamentary procedures and Robert's Rules of Orders, and anyway, it was, I'm still trying to gather from different people what it was, but it's interesting because everybody has different opinions, and no one's really excited about what happened, but we still don't really know what happened. So it's still, I've heard a couple different stories.
And I did have a second question. So for the dislike button, when it was removed, it impacted many people that would use it for finding and curating whatever they looked up for how to do videos and tutorials. Did you have any examples of topics that beyond politics were impacted?
Well, I actually do recall seeing videos that were about Joe Biden, and where the dislikes were being reduced. And then I don't remember exactly which videos they were, but I do recall, that's coming to my memory now thinking about it, which I thought was interesting. It seems like the dislike algorithm was trying to downplay how unliked Joe Biden was and the things that he was saying. And I felt like that during that period of time when it happened was when Joe Biden was elected, and that it was for that purpose, was to hide the realities of how much Joe Biden is disliked.
I can't think
In
of
the
any.
search.
I can't think of any personally. I know that when I'm searching for a YouTube video on a topic, it's usually like how to work this appliance, or something's going on with a car, and so usually I'm just looking into like what it is, and I don't really use the thumbs down button for whether it was relevant to my search, but
It's a pleasure talking with you.
Well, I don't really. I remember when it happened and they made that change. I have a YouTube channel too, and I didn't notice that make a specific change in my search results. I think on my channel so much. At least I couldn't tell at the time, and I don't know how much of a difference that really made in my search results. So it just wasn't something that I felt had a big impact. I do know that on my own YouTube channel, I can see when people dislike or like a video, so that's always interesting to me to see if there's a higher rate of dislike or not. But usually it's a small percentage of dislike, so I don't really get impacted too much by it.
Were there any topics such as related to farming where you would look up that were impacted after they were dealing in
With the YouTube, with the dislike, not so much that I remember. I just don't remember that I had any difference or challenges finding that stuff. I know a lot of people like that as a method of winnowing out or curating the channels that they're looking at, but it wasn't a way that I usually use in the way I search for videos.
Like I said, I wouldn't really know too much beyond politics on how it was affected, because that's pretty much all I do is politics. Besides, back in the day, I've used YouTube for tutorials on how to fix something on my car or whatnot. But other than that, I do know that politically speaking, the YouTube has censored any speech they don't like. They're basically, until Rumble came out, they had that market cornered. They didn't have to worry about losing any subscribers or anything, because there was no one else to go to. And I myself I wouldn't support or recommend supporting a tyrannical company like YouTube. They censored Alex Jones because they didn't like what he said. To this day, they censor Steven Crowder. They did the same to Dan Bongino. He completely left. He said no more of that, so he's not even on there. Steven Crowder, he's still on there, but they demonetized him years ago, even though he has the shows that are literally getting more views than any other show out there. For instance, the last election that we just had, what was it? Just a few months ago. What race was it? I don't know. It was an election, and he had the highest amount of users streaming his show worldwide. Literally, the top streaming platform, or the top streaming show on literally, not just in the United States, but the whole world. There was more people watching his show than any other show during that election, and he didn't get a penny for it because they don't like what he talks about.